Bill Moseley,
Danielle Harris,
Dick Warlock,
George Romero,
Kane Hodder,
Robert England,
Ronnie Blakely,
CJ Graham.
and you're listening to
Deep in the Horror of Texas.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Oh, hey, you okay?
Damn enchilada!
Oh, you gonna be alright?
I'm feeling woozy, yeah. What's in the box?
The blackest tie.
What's in the fucking box?
Anything!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deep in the Horror of Texas. This is Jeff.
Bork, bork, bork. Oh, wait, Nathan.
And this is Ralph.
We are gathered today to talk about the follow-up film from Aster. It is the film he followed up after Hereditary, which is called Midsommar.
But first, let's address the elephant in the room. Ralph, what the fuck is happening with your eye?
Nothing.
Uh-huh. Guy's on acid. For a movie that involves a bunch of trips, he is dedicated.
Yeah, well, I was told that the experience is better whenever you're tripping on something. And
Golly.
oh, am I tripping on something?
Yeah, let's do it together. Let's take this. I got this. Where is it? Look, these. Let me take these shrooms all together.
Oh, shit.
Can I get into tea form though? Because the texture.
No, fuck that. I'll take it with my whiskey.
There. There.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful,
And
beautiful.
Ralph.
Thank you,
All
thank
right.
you.
You didn't wash the shit off them.
You're supposed to wash them?
About 30 minutes of this podcast is going to get interesting.
Yeah, I mix it with my Dr. Pepper.
Oh, beautiful! This is gonna be a lot of fun.
I can't wait to actually
Everybody's tripping with me.
I can't wait to actually try some ayahuasca or DMT, man. Like, I'm fucking looking forward to that.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh. It's already hitting you, huh? Jesus, guy. Concentrate on chewing.
All right. Sorry.
All right.
Well.
And we're back.
Yeah, here we are. Oh, there you are. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
DMT. I know how to make it now.
Put your hands where I can see them. Put your hands where I can see them. Oh, all right. I'm back.
Medicine!
Jesus Christ!
All right.
Yeah, get us some fucking golf shoes.
Oh, Jesus.
Otherwise, we'll never make it out of this podcast alive.
All right.
Nope.
Time to zero back in.
Impossible to walk out this
All right.
Got it down? Did you snort your shroom?
Yeah. Okay. I'm better.
Did you just take it rectally?
Yeah. I crushed it up and put it in a wet napkin. Just threw it right up in there.
Oh, seepage.
Oh, man. Make a wish. Just dropped it in the well. What was it, Baby Jane? That fell in the fucking pipe. There you go, baby. Anywho, Midsommar. Yeah, it was a film.
It was a film.
Man, a long film.
Very long film.
Jeez, it was
Almost
like
3 hours?
it's like the end game of fucking horror films.
We're talking 147
thriller.
minutes, almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
That's
that's some
insane.
beautiful wallpaper.
2.5 hours, 3 minutes shy of it.
Oh yeah, a lot of the scenery is fucking beautiful wallpaper.
I was like, man, I thought I was watching the sequel to It Follows there for a second.
Oh,
It's like a lot of pans.
I thought I was watching daytime Hereditary.
Oh yeah. Lifetime.
See that?
It's a life. Ari Aster always reminds like it's just like the most morbid Lifetime Hallmark film you'll ever see. It's like, jeez. All right, so she's gonna fuck the butt. No,
This is a little bit better than
no,
the Nancy
no.
Kerrigan
Whoa.
story.
Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with her fucking parents? What's she doing? What, bitch? You're calling your parents at 2 a.m. Of course they're asleep. Oh, they're not asleep.
Oh, dude, that part was fucking great.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was great.
Well, hold on, before we get too far into this,
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So
Give us
with
the rundown.
with this movie, directed by the Mr. Ari Aster, it's also written by Ari Aster.
Wow.
Produced by Lars Knudsen.
Oh,
and
he's the drummer for
Patrick
Metallica.
Anderson.
Lars Fredrickson.
There you go. Production companies. you
Lars
had-
Fredrickson?
Huh?
Do you say Lars Fredrickson?
Lars Knudsen.
Oh,
Knunderson.
Knudsen. It's distributed by A24 Films and Nordisk Films in Sweden. Production companies Square Peg and Be Real Films. It was,
Be Real.
Be Real.
Cypress Hill?
It had a release date in Los Angeles for some weird reason. It was only released there on June 24th. The rest of the United States didn't get it till July 3rd, and Sweden got it in July 10th.
Those Swedes.
Those Swedes. The runtime is 147 minutes. They had a budget of $9 million, and so right now the box office is sitting at 31.7 million.
good. It's a winner.
Vindication!
You see that? The Cosmos and
Yeah.
the Nexus gave him all that information.
Yes, my aunt drives a Lexus. It's
I
awesome.
thought you were going to say
Beautiful.
my ass.
Oh no! And you said the producer was a large Ferguson.
Yep. Large Ferguson.
It's like something out of a Dr. Seuss novel.
Sounds like something like
Large
jackass guys
Ferguson.
do to each other. All right, we're gonna do the large Ferguson here.
3, 2, 1. Woo! Sorry, Dad.
Oh my God! What the hell? So that's pretty much the rundown on that.
Where was it
movie.
filmed? Pull it out of the Cosmos.
Pull it out of the Cosmos. Fuck! You have
Utah.
me dig a little deeper.
Yes.
God damn! Like I need to get a fucking
Chant.
not like
Chant.
a hand glove,
Come
but I
on.
need
Chant,
like an
it'll
elbow
help.
glove.
Chant,
Fucking-
take a guess and we'll see if you're right.
Budapest.
Well, we know Jeff ain't tripping yet.
Nah, I don't. I'm pretty sure it's not Budapest.
Holy shit! Utah and Hungary. Utah is actually on here.
What?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
No, it's not.
Shooting locations is Budapest, Hungary, and Utah, USA.
Where does it say that?
On filming locations on IMDb.
No, not IMDb. Nexus. Utah. Ogden.
That's what they.
See,
That's what they
I
found.
tell you, zeitgeist.
That's where you find a large Ferguson.
You eat unwashed shrooms, you know the pulse of America.
Oh yeah, you can
yeah,
only find
definitely.
so many.
That's the pulse in my ass.
Yeah, it's where the albinos of the world unite. Ogden.
The Mormons.
We're not going to talk about the Mormon over there. It's a fucking Mormon. Let's go.
We're very liberal about our inbreeding here.
We're allowed to marry our first cousins.
First cousin's okay. Second cousins, you might be a redneck.
Strike that, reverse it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the rest of the country, second
Sorry.
cousins, like, yeah, all right, maybe.
Yeah.
First cousins is weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yeah, for Texas, a little backwards.
Well, yeah.
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 You just took my fry to
At least we're
a whole
talking
new level.
cousins. Nobody really does
Thank
sisters.
God I didn't know my cousins. I think they're all boys.
Jesus.
They would call you Slack Jaw Nate. Look, I could dislocate my jaw. What? How'd you learn that? Funny story.
Kick them in the jaw, go straight. I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
you don't call him Nathan's hot dogs.
it's because it plumps up. Not very big, mind you.
You're in the ballpark.
The ballparks are bigger.
Really? I thought I had more girth. In length, you got him beat.
Yeah, length, I got everybody beat. I'm like a number 2 pencil.
Yep.
Ring.
There you go. You play with it like a piece of rope.
You got to take a piece of floss.
They say, what kind of rope? Oh. Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell.
All right, so
right.
Midsommar.
I'm talking about my
Yeah.
junk.
This movie was just, it starts on like a very claustrophobic relationship situation between a boyfriend girlfriend. A little too needy. Like
Yeah.
she's on that kind of like, everything's gone wrong in my life and I'm really leaning on you hard to be like my sole. I don't know, like emotional support.
Yeah, like she's her entire ordeal is that she's looking for that support because whenever the movie begins, you automatically get that feeling like she never really got what she needed out of her family. Like the parents, you kind of get like an idea of like the relationship between her and the parents were all right. The sister's relationship was strained,
and it put a strain on the parents.
And it put a strain on the parents, and then putting a strain on her,
even when she's off away going to college. Yeah, so you're like, man,
yeah, it's really it's a lot to process, especially for someone like that, and for all that to happen while away at college. That has to put a strain on your mental health. And
then what they set up really fast is how much of an asshole the boyfriend is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
the boyfriend and the
is
friends.
He though?
He's a two-faced asshole.
Yeah, he really is.
Dude,
he doesn't know how to break up with her
because
she's emotionally needy. So he's like, fuck.
Then you're an asshole and a bitch. That's what really amazes me about the male character. It's like, dude, somewhere in there you're. Somebody should have showed you how to be a man, you know? It's like, you tell a girl you're
He totally pussed out. I get it.
He pussed out
multiple times. Well, I hate when you man up to your friends, but you puss out to your chick. It's like, dude, you're really riding that.
Well, he kind of got stuck in an awkward situation. So he's like, sitting there with his buddies. She calls and he's like, oh, yeah, I love you too, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, are you going to break up with her finally? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then the thing happens, and you don't break up with someone right after that.
Well, no, he even says right when he's having that conversation with his friends is that like he's sitting there talking about, yeah, I know I need to break up with her, but then he goes, well, what if I want her back? Well, bitch, they're called an ex for a reason.
Yeah,
you don't fucking just like go, oh yeah, I'm going to break up with him, but what if I want him back? I can't get her back. Then obviously you're not ready.
On to the next.
Yeah. You're not obviously ready to fucking break up with her, or at least you're like from the way that sounds. It sounds like you're the needy one at this point.
Like you need the emotional
the
blanket.
Man likes sex,
but he wasn't getting it.
He was not getting it.
So. Like
I've invested this time. I must get it.
If you're investing your time to try and get it, and you're not getting it, then why are you still investing it for something you're not going to get?
Yeah,
I don't know. Why don't you tell us?
I don't know. You tell me, Nate.
I got married and I still haven't had sex.
So, like, I don't. He's the male character is broken. The girl character is broken. The friends are fucking assholes. Like, it's everyone in this movie, aside from the girlfriend, is two-faced. So, and that makes it they make it very apparent right at the get-go. And like you said, it fucking
especially
just put him in a rough position.
Especially his friends.
Yeah.
So,
tell her hi, and then they're like, "Ah, fucking bitch." It's like, Jesus, guys.
So while this Lifetime movie's playing, then we finally cut to some kind of fucking interesting moment, and it's that fucking event that's happening at the girl's house.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, seeing as how this movie's probably already out of theaters, and you're probably waiting on the DVD release, depending on when we release this.
Yeah. And our review is going to be quite foggy.
Yeah. So this beautiful scene.
Well, the email.
Oh yeah, the email of like the dark fucking like suicide note of like goodbye. You know. But then
goodbye, and I'm taking mom and dad with me.
Yeah. And I love the phone call and the voicemails and stuff and the empty answer machine answerings, all that stuff. But it was cool getting to that final scene of like the cops arriving, pulling the duct tape, seeing the carbon monoxide, the hoses going from the car upstairs.
Yeah, first you think it's just in the garage,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, you did a whatever Lifetime movie that was in the 80s. Remember they used to show us it in school?
Oh, yeah.
The kids killed themselves in the car by putting the hose in. So you think it's that, but no, this bitch is duct taped hoses running through the house, up the stairs, into the parents' room, duct tape shut.
Nothing but net.
And then into her room, duct tape to her fucking face.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what a way to go.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
That's peaceful.
And then it zooms into the fucking computer screen. There's that email.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
But the look on her face, the way this is shot is good. It's all one take, yeah? I remember it being all
if it's
one
take, cool.
No, it's not one take. Because
I remember him following the cop through the garage, up the stairs, lifting to a crane, and then...
No, because it cuts whenever they open the door from the garage into the kitchen.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
And then it cuts again for them walking up the stairs.
You're right. You're right. So, well, the interior of the house is one shot.
It was a neat scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely was neat.
But then, like,
pain.
God, it was like 90 fucking seconds of. It was like that fucking emotional, like fucking crying over the phone, and then he's there at their apartment. She's crying at the apartment.
Is it weird that I get turned on when women cry?
No, you might be a Weinstein though.
Hey, okay, I gotta get some psychological help.
That's dark. Yeah. I got real dark real fast.
No tears, please.
Just a waste of suffering.
I don't know. It's an aphrodisiac for me.
You want to roll in my movie, eh?
Cry.
Come up to my suite.
Yeah, I'll get you in Kill Bill 3.
Woof.
Oh.
Buzz, your girlfriend.
Woof. I don't look like Harvey Weinstein, thank God.
No.
At least be somewhat fun.
It's emotionally ambiguous. It's a thing. It's a thing. All right, so they're gonna. He has his master thesis plan with his friends. They're gonna go to Sweden.
Go bang all the Swedish milkmaids.
One of the guys is what do you call those people?
Foreign exchange
students.
And he's like, "Yeah, come to my land. You see the Rastafarian way or whatever the hell."
Rastafarian?
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
The Swedish meatballs. How sweet! Come see where IKEA was made. It's like fucking.
His name's Pele?
Yeah, Pele.
Cool.
I did not catch that the entire movie.
She says it like
P-E-L-L-E.
She says it like 20 times.
Pele.
Pel.
Pele.
Pola.
Anyways, they go to this ancestral commune in Sweden.
Yeah.
At the Harga.
Off the beaten path.
Well, yeah, it's essentially off the beaten path to experience his festival that him and his family.
It's like once a decade or something?
Yeah, like, well, I think it's once.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a little longer than that. Sorry, listeners, our memory is kind of foggy from those
especially
trims.
now. Fuck.
It's a festival that they do, and they do it every summer, but like the big one, like the big feast is every like 90 years or something like that.
Yeah, 90 years, you're right.
Every 90 years they have the big one. And coincidentally, him inviting them to this, two of them are working on like college theses. One of them is like dead set on doing it for like pretty much all of Europe, whereas the other one has no idea.
Yeah.
And he's kind of this is the boyfriend trying to like, I guess, piggyback off of this. I really piggyback off of this while trying to like cope with the
boyfriend. Well, that comes later.
Yeah, but it's just like he's using it as an excuse, really.
I thought he was just going to Sweden because he wanted to go with his friends. Because it doesn't come on to a thesis thing until he fucking sees what's going on there, and he realizes this has got to be my thesis. Because he's been wishy-washy. Yeah, he hasn't picked a thesis.
Yeah,
and then he sees this thing and he starts saying, "Fuck, I'm gonna take advantage of this fucking thing going on."
But
so again,
yeah, it's all coincidence, and as we get a little further in the movie, also somewhat planned by Pele, you know.
Yeah,
but like
that's what I didn't get.
What
was it planned by him?
Yeah,
because it was his plan to bring his friends, but it wasn't like she would win the Queen of the Autumn. And
do you remember
all that other shit?
When the elders cut their hands and they rubbed that rock? That was like a symbolizing the spell that they were going to do for the Midsommar bullshit. And it's a quadrant of 9 blocks, and out of those 9 blocks, 4 people were supposed to be from the commune that belonged to those the Harga, whatever they said, those people, and the other 5 were going to be the ones that were the outsiders being brought in.
Yeah.
So you had
to reproduce.
Yeah. So you had the 2 elders. You had the 2 people that, if you would have watched the ending, the 2 people that sacrificed themselves or volunteered themselves.
Pele's brother and someone else. I don't remember the significance of the other guy, but Pele's brother was one of them that volunteered himself.
And those are supposed to be witnesses to this spell or whatever the hell the offering is. And the other 5 end up being
the outsiders.
The Pennywise Fool guy, the other friend that was doing the thesis, the boyfriend, and then the 2 other people that the Pele's brother brought.
Oh,
It
right,
was the fiancés,
yeah.
the married, those two. So
the married couple that kind of like disappeared out of nowhere.
So
yeah,
when
one
they
disappeared, and then
so when the elders had originally hit that fucking thing and smear their blood, it was like to begin that spell that would take a part of those 7 or 9 days
Put
that
a
they.
spell on you.
And it's just it's interesting.
yeah, it's. I remember sitting forward in this movie quite a bit because I was just like, okay,
Trying to piece it all together.
Yeah, this is going to come into play somehow. I got to figure it out, and no, never came to me. It was strange, like the whole dinner scene. It was like, oh, are these guys the Lord and Queen of the Communion? Oh no! Oh, what's happening to them? Oh fuck!
Yeah, and everything just escalates from there. I mean, for that happening day one, I was like, you really got to bring some badass shit throughout the days to make me stay there for like the next 8 days. And you know what? Never really did anything really cool. No.
I mean, witnessing a pack suicide kind of cool.
That was day one, though. You end with that. You don't open Woodstock with Jimi Hendrix. You close with it. You're just like, fuck. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but at the end, when Jimi Hendrix played, half the concert goers already left.
Yeah, and they missed magic.
They missed a guitar on fire.
Yeah,
that's what they missed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's magic.
I
don't know. I felt
Voodoo
there was enough
child.
in there for me that got me sticking around. I saw it twice.
Well, I mean, just what they hair pies. Serving that type shit, I would have checked out.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, okay, midnight, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm gone. Fuck that. Like, no.
So the elder jumping.
I wouldn't have walked into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, wait, how much inbreeding do you do? Oh, you skip a generation? I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm out.
As soon as I would have walked there, I was like, no, fuck
no,
this. Wait, we're walking there?
Every now and then we'll do a pure blood to be the prophet. It's like, You have the internet? You know that's bad.
It's like, wait. Y'all have all these Queen Mays shits, all these photos of the Queen Mays, but y'all do this every 90 years? Doubtful. Come on.
No.
What, it's a yearly thing?
No, the 90 years is the Harga or whatever the hell.
That's the big
That's
feast.
the big festival.
Oh, that's a
but
big
every
festival.
year they have
The same festival.
They have the May Queen
a festival,
and all that.
but not with
They
all
have the May Queen every year.
They have the May Queen every year.
and that's
but
what
they
all
do-
those pictures were.
And the other thing was what?
What other thing?
But what was the significance of the Hargo thing?
The Harga is the recycling of life,
Right.
For them to be able to
Somebody dies.
signify or to like help for like harvests.
Oh, because people only get old every 90 days.
90 years.
Every 90 years.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
There's
saying.
nobody born in
no,
between.
that's what I'm saying. Like, for this story to juggle so many things, it was like,
I think
you're kind of not really doing it justice.
I think that's just kind of the happening. The Harga is when you bring in somebody, which I think is every 9 years. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That when I started scratching my head,
it didn't have a clear
when
interpretation.
When
of
I
what
watched
was
it, I
happening.
was like, you're not being cohesive enough to make this like even meaningful. It's just beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Great. It's like, oh, the cinematography's great. Oh yeah, what was the point at the end of the movie? Hey, you mean like everybody died and she found a family? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have you seen Hook?
Okay. Okay. I was like, and that's what, and it took 2.5 hours to do that? I was like, okay.
Dude, this is one movie, just like I said with Hereditary, but Hereditary had purpose in its long,
Fuck yeah, it had purpose. It had an epilogue.
In its long, lingering shots, it had purpose. Like where her head gets knocked off and he just sits at the wheel, and it's a solid 2 minutes of just his not wanting to turn around.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, you feel in that moment, and it starts building tension inside of yourself. This, you could trim all this fucking fat off, and you still wouldn't have a movie that made very much sense.
Oh, you had the mongoloid fucking, I don't know what you want
I
to call
thought that
him.
was her with a bee sting.
You had that guy, and there's like one scene he's like writing in a book with crayons, and he's like got a big ass pillow of sheep wool, like a cloud of sheep wool or some shit, and you're like, what was the purpose of that? It looked great. It's like, okay, what was the purpose of it? Was it explained? No. I was like, God damn it. I was like, God damn, just paint me a fucking picture to look at. Okay?
He tried.
Yeah, he tried.
Inbreeding.
Yeah.
But what I saw with that particular scene with the sheep and him just kind of having his own room was that he was the prophet, whereas everybody else, like they were explaining, like why everybody stayed in those houses. With the first like 18 years, you're a kid. 18 to 32, you go work, and then from 32 to whatever the age is, you are a mentor, and then from this age to this age, you're pretty much your fodder.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for him for that particular shot was to signify that he had more importance than everybody else staying in that house.
Yeah.
Because he was the inbred product and also the prophet and the unclouded one. So he was separated from everybody else. That way he didn't get any kind of like
and like
influence.
the mentors would interpret his stuff. I get, and like I don't know. It was like I said. It was like it
reminded me of Happy Gilmore.
I think I'm hoping.
Well, good for Happy. Oh my God!
I just hope that the 30 minutes that we're missing, it gives more purpose to the story. I think there was a big. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, and you're looking at it, but there's big gaps that just don't.
Yeah.
Make the story. It was beautiful to watch, but I would never say that was a masterpiece, because that's what bothered me. I was like, it was getting really good reviews, and I was like, ooh, it might be really good. And then I watched it, and I was like, I must have missed something, because it wasn't a thing. It was just like something pretty to look at.
Right. All it did for me was make me sit forward and what am I going through right now?
Well, what were like some of the best scenes that you saw that stuck out in your mind that were like, well, that was
I'm going to give this movie huge props for getting acid trips and psilocybin trips correct.
Correct.
Like, the trees breathing and shit. Like,
that was some serious.
If you take acid, effects. You go sit under a big weeping willow, you're going to have a fucking good trip, because you're going to think like in the like grass growing through her hand. Mind you, I've never had the grass grow through my hand, but I've had the wonky wave where everything's a little distorted and everything's a little spindly. Like they did a excellent job, even better than Fear and Loathing, at getting the acid trip right.
Of course, yeah, definitely, I can agree with you on that one.
And
the visual effects were
like the digital effects were great. What was your question?
What was
key scenes?
Like a key scene.
Let's talk about the fucking suicide, the jump. That scene was gnarly. I was like, okay, like. The plot leads to, this big dinner celebration. And like Jeff said, on the very first day you close with this, you don't open with it. But they, are celebrating these people's lives, and fucking they carry them in a chair, and everybody's at the bottom of this big rock wall. And all of a sudden the people come up on top of the rock wall, this older couple. And the chick just spreads her wings and face fucking plants right onto like a kill stone, I guess. Yeah. Sacrificial stone. And they get a good close up of her face. It's just fucking mangled.
They make a point to show you that face.
Yeah, it was fucking grody. And then the guy jumps feet first.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
And like buckles his knee backwards and hits his asshole on the rock. I'm like, and he's laying there like, oh, and they have to come up and smash his head with a hammer. And I'm like,
Hugh Gallagher.
And everybody's freaking, all the residents are like, this is the normal thing, but all the visitors are like, what the fuck? And it's like, my only thought during that whole time was, God damn, why would you jump ass first? Like, I don't even care what's going on in this movie. Why would you jump feet first off of like 45-foot cliff?
But the humor in that for me was that they were prepared for dumbass, because they had hammer sitting like readily by.
Was it explained why he did it that way? Is that like
no? They don't explain it.
Well, is that a purpose? Because a lot of Vikings and Swedes and all that used to die by Norse hammers and shit like that.
Fuck do I know?
Ancient thing.
That doesn't explain. I think that was.
If you want to get stupid,
like fucking Claude, you fucked up.
I think they were just prepared for dumbass. That's all.
If you want to be like really,
just to ensure that the body was dead.
If you want to look too into it, you can think about the runic symbols for male and female. Maybe that was a thing.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is there symbolism to it?
There is a lot of symbolism in this movie.
And if you played God of War for PS4, you probably felt like you're a little too prepared for the runic bullshit in this film. If you read Neil Gaiman's recent book, Norse Mythology, that fed into a lot of this shit too, because this wasn't strictly a Swedish folklore. He mixed a whole mixed bag of different folklore stuff.
But I'm thinking that this
Germanic.
I think this has to be symbolism, because remember they say something about when elders get old, nobody wants to die embarrassed and ashamed of who they are by shitting themselves and stuff like that.
Eskimos do that shit too.
Right. But what I'm saying is, they brought that whole subject up. So for the guy to jump like that, eat shit, and live through it, remember the cult mimics him before crushing him. They mimic his wails and moans.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like it was the man's purpose to suffer the fall. You know what I mean? Instead of the wife just going fucking face first into the rock.
Yeah.
I think it was, like a send off before you get to that deliberating. What is it? The fucking word?
Deliberately?
No.
The Great Beyond?
Debilitating. What?
Debilitating?
Where you fucking start withering away.
Yeah.
Deteriorating. Thank you. Before you get to that deteriorating state, to fall and suffer like that and then mimic it is like send them off before that all happens. I don't know.
I'm saying
strange. There's definitely symbolism.
Well, the Donald Trump lady said pretty specifically that she was like, this is like the full circle. You serve out your purpose and then you kind of...
Donald Trump lady?
The leader lady.
The lady.
Like, hey, this is why we do fucked up shit.
Small hands?
Yeah, she was on Twitter and everything. But no, it was like weird because she was like saying like this is the purpose, the circle and all that crap. She was trying to explain to the
pretty much saying that like the reason why they do this is so then they could preserve the soul of the individual that just died and be able to pass them on to the unborn children. So then the soul doesn't spoil, it doesn't sour, it doesn't pass on any negative attributes onto the next individual because they had to quote unquote suffer, they had to feel pain, they had to deal with all these problems and have to worry about getting to a certain age, so on and so forth. They wanted to preserve that pureness, or as pure as possible, for the next person, I guess. Yeah, it's a very strange scene.
I thought it was like, you know what, they had a hammer ready just in case you didn't fucking knock it out of the park.
I think you're correct on the hammer part. Is that is just a failsafe just in case someone survives.
But what was dark is that he passed it from the father. Like the father went to his father, smashed him in the face, and he passed it to his daughter. She smashed him in the face and said, "Hey, mother-in-law, you get in there too." Yeah. I was like, "Damn, everybody got a whack at that motherfucker."
And that's probably because of my guess was because that's the family.
Yeah,
like because
your kin would fucking be
the kin would be the one to take you out. Why? Like example, like say, God forbid you do that, would you want Nate come in to take the
Hell
blow?
no.
I will definitely take care of you, bro.
You only got to swing one kind of hammer in this house.
Oh my!
You hung a lot of posters.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was talking about.
You wouldn't want me to kill you if you fell ass first and were just ripped apart like that?
No.
You ain't shitting right for a week.
Hey, right.
Easily.
It's okay.
No, he'll have you wipe his ass first.
No, I'm not going there. But I will hit you in the head with a hammer.
No.
I'll do that for you, bro.
No.
The shrooms are kicking in.
I'd eat my own face first.
You what?
Ah.
You want me to feed you your face?
What?
I'll feed it to you.
I'm not going to Hannibal this shit, okay?
Ralph,
What's up?
Would you want me to take you out?
You're close enough to family, yeah. Sure.
You know it'd be one blow.
What? Oh yeah. Just one load, it'll be fine.
One last blow.
He loves the cock.
That's not how you kill me, Nate.
Oh, more.
You mean it's not working?
No.
Oh.
That's gross.
You know that's in my belly button now, right? I landed feet first.
Trying to help you out with your Blumpkin problem here. Bloop.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, like that.
That's
I
a bro.
I do agree though that moment should have been saved for like near the ending.
Yeah.
But
well,
I see the significance as to why they put it at the beginning is to freak everybody else out, you know.
And that's a great scene. And I love at the end of the scene with her getting that visual of her sister with the mask, the carbon monoxide mask in front of the rocks. She's like, yeah. Danny sees her sister sitting there as like almost,
sister and the two parents,
and they were tripping at this time. Yeah, they passed it out at dinner.
I don't know.
Remember?
No,
the drink.
That was morning, though, I thought. Remember, go to sleep. Well, tomorrow we're going to have a...
Right.
Oh, yeah, but then they do the dinner thing.
Yeah, and the drink for them was all a different color. It was yellow for everybody else, but it was like orangish for them.
No, that was later.
That was later.
That was later?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the menstrual blood situation. all right, Ralph. What was I remember one of your favorite scenes from the film. We don't have to go in order, just whatever stuck out in your... Yeah.
Kind of irony.
Sorry.
Is this fresh Squozen?
Is this from Arby's? Are we getting... Are y'all fucking Ubering like fucking shit from Arby's?
I don't know. Depends. I can't see shit.
It's like, well...
We've all spit acidic venom.
What are they? It's a hair.
Red.
The fuck?
Jesus.
No more meat pie.
One of my favorite scenes is actually the dream sequence that she ended up having, where everybody kind of just like up and left her.
Oh yeah.
It kind of solidifies the fact that that her friends and her boyfriend aren't really there for her. That shows how two-faced they actually are. To in her dream leave her there, and then as she's trying to scream, she's just exhaling like just exhaust the entire time. It just for me. Just that scene itself was just it gave, to me it told a lot.
Yeah,
because it showed how two-faced the friends are. It showed it gave you the idea of it reminded you of the suicide that her sister did. Mm-hmm. But I also kind of interpreted it as though she's expelling the problems that she's having. Like she's slowly getting rid of all of that. And I thought that was a really cool scene to watch. Like not to say that the suicide scene or a couple of others.
I'm saying whatever you like personally.
But personally, I like that because there were so many ways I can interpret it.
Gotcha.
Because there's, like I said earlier, this movie has so much symbolism in it that the movie literally tells you what's going to happen next, if not tell you what's going to happen throughout the entire fucking movie. And that's one of my favorite scenes because it's just it really does tell you that those friends are fucking assholes.
And that's what
it really nails it home for her.
That was beautiful. Yeah, the imagery and that was awesome. The car and the way everybody's like kind of ghostly looking at her.
And
like,
that one friend.
Yeah.
Was that Mark?
But that's what made me
Mark.
And then playing to what Nate's the scene that Nate brought up and the scene that you just brought up, that's what killed me throughout the film is that after that nightmare sequence, they kind of drop any kind of grief imagery that Danny was dealing with. I think the only other thing we get a flash of is when she becomes the May Queen, and she sees her mother walk through the crowd, and that was it.
Well,
she says the mother and the father,
but there was never any more grief imagery, like her.
That should have been throughout.
Yeah, it should have been her constantly being fucked with by the community, and also her inner self to like the community's either healing her. Or, like you said, expelling her, like a situation, like you said.
I have exorcised the demon.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
What was the part you liked?
I'm going to lean towards, I'm going to set it up first, because my scene is when...
To tell you this story, I need to tell you another story.
No, my main scene I loved was just that beautiful imagery of the pig noises and the guys taking the pictures of those books in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you see that silhouette in the background, and it kind of looks like his friend.
Mark.
But to set that up, it's like you got to think about the kid pissing on the tree.
Yeah.
And then like somebody has it out for him.
Like what a dumb shit. Okay, let me comment on that real quick. Why would you piss on a tree when you just had this ceremony dumping the ancestors' ashes at the tree?
Yeah.
Why would you piss on the tree?
Yeah.
Will Poulter is a fucking dipshit in this movie.
He's Americana.
Continue.
Well, what made me laugh too is because he goes missing. And you're kind of like, for a second, you're like, what the fuck is he doing? It's like, maybe he got doused with something and he's kind of like not himself.
Yeah.
But then you see the weirdness of it. And then when you see how he's kind of being worn and the attack is just so brutal. Mm-hmm. And you get that weird shot of like the Mongoloid kid the prophet kind of sleeping in a room behind the thing, and you're like, wow, that kind of brought me back to that room in Hereditary
behind the altar
where Paimon gets kind of like baptized.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh man, this is kind of this is getting good. Like this is gonna be cool. And then that scene was just so intense and very a la Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of shit. And then you remember the kids running around, they're playing a game called Skin the Fool. And then later you see William Poulter's skin and being like on like a little jester hat, and you're like, wow, like the community really like set up this fucking dark way of taking out
the fucking symbolism.
Yeah,
it's fucking everywhere.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes because it was just like out of like finally like there's a little fucking thriller horror like fucking shit that like got intense there for a second.
Yeah,
I also really dug the fucking dance where she, they trip and they do the May dance.
Oh yeah,
and
I love when
to eliminate, and then she sits at the table and the flowers keep.
I love when she's so fucking high and like the gibberish becomes Swedish and like, how am I speaking your language? You are speaking Swedish, and he starts getting all subtitling. You're like, oh fuck, this is awesome. You're freaking out with her. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, they shot that whole sequence beautifully, like that into the dinner scene, because they carry her over to the table. But like her fucking flower hat kept fucking me up, dude. How like the bud would grow and shrink.
Oh yeah,
it's like I am on acid. Wait.
Am I?
Yeah.
I am on acid.
You're grinding your jaw. You're blinking a lot.
It's like Peter Griffin where he snorts crank. Oh, fuck yes.
Oh, man.
For real, like I cannot compliment the psychedelic visualization of the psychedelics.
But when the roller coasters, but after you're like the dance and stuff, you think this roller coaster is finally going up and it's about to go somewhere, and then her boyfriend gets taken to like the most abstract version. No, before he does that, he goes to like the most abstract version of Planet Parenthood I've ever seen in my life. And it's like stare at this fucking Willy Wonka wallpaper, then have a one-on-one with our camp counselor,
very
fucking
close.
Cheryl.
Very close.
Jeez,
comfortably close.
Yeah.
God damn. And then, meet me in the barn. I got something to show you. That was just...
I was a little turned on by that scene. I'm like, dude, that would be awesome to fucking poke somebody with all their ancestors looking at you, cheering you on. It's like, yeah. But they're all like... Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, it brought me back to my trailer park days, I was like, fuck. The trailer park choir's there. Like I'm butt naked. She's on the bush.
Like
I'm in the bush.
It's like they're trying to hit the brown note.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the wrong
note.
Like,
and that's where...
Thelma, take her hand.
That's actually... If you would have kept watching, it would have gotten a little more awkward. Because... Okay. As they're singing, as they're kind of like moaning with the girl, I can't remember her name now. Like they like lean down and like moan with her, like it's like a collection of faces right there. They finally come to him and like, oh, and like start like touching him on the face. Like what the fuck?
And when he's not finishing fast enough, like the chick gets behind him and starts like
pushing his
ass into her. Like,
really?
Come on, let's get this over with.
Little confession here. I did not finish the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think this needs to be said. So it has a very odd opening. Okay, I don't really remember titles or credits. I remember a title.
It's a pan of a tapestry.
Right.
That was like,
okay, so going into the film, me and Ralph went and saw this, and as he's fucking and they're humming and moaning, bam, theater goes dark, lights come up. I looked at Ralph, I said, is that the fucking end of the fucking movie? Like no credits?
This is Spike Lee joint.
This is a fucking strange ass fucking movie, man. And so we're waiting there, and we're with these other two people are in the theater. They look down.
There's only
like,
4 of us, including me and Nate, in this theater.
Yeah, the people look down and they're like, "Is that it?" I don't know. So
hey, fuck you.
What's your name?
Tony.
Fuck you, Tony.
Fuck you. Hey, you see that fire over there?
What fire?
That fire.
Yeah, I see the fire.
No, what?
What?
I fucked your mom next to it.
Hey, fuck you.
That's how every single online relationship goes on Xbox.
That's a theater experience.
I fucked your mother. So we're sitting in this fucking blank theater, blank expressions. People behind us are just as dumbfounded. we get up and we're like, okay. We start walking down the ramp and we're like, all right.
That was an art house movie.
Is it coming back on?
824.
Dude, so we get outside and the entire Showbiz Cinemas is pitch fucking black.
Wow.
Just like a floodlight at the end of the hall. So
Storm took it out?
This is creepy.
Did they pass you out free passes?
Right. So the lady standing there and she's like, hey, sorry, the power went out. I was like, well, fuck
she forgot we were fucking in there.
Yeah, they forgot about us.
Jesus.
So as we're leaving, we don't see anybody.
Did y'all get dressed first?
I don't think so.
No, he had his
You
boxes
walk out carrying your clothes.
Walk out carrying his cock. Come on, Ralph.
You walk out.
It's like a leash.
And a popcorn bucket attached to
That's
his.
what I was like. You're just holding a bucket of popcorn, bare ass naked. What happened in the movie?
Ironically, the popcorn bucket's on Ralph's crotch.
Nate's hand attached to it.
Yeah. Well, okay, guiding force here.
We have such sights to show.
You don't want to go in that theater. Don't go in that theater.
Don't want to go on that theater.
So we walk out, and the lady's like, sorry, the power grid went out. I was like, well, fuck, how long is it going to take? And she's like, last time I was out for about 3 hours. I was like, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus.
I was like, there is 10 fucking minutes left to this film. Are you telling me I can't fucking watch it? And she's like, well, there's a free pass. I was like, I'm going to see Spider-Man. And I never went and saw it.
I did.
Well, good for you. You took my wife, didn't you?
Yeah.
You fuck. He's banging the whole Phelpses over here.
Oh, shit.
Took his 2 dogs, took his cat,
Damn.
his wife.
Jesus.
My son called him daddy by accident the other day. Like, you know what, son? I actually thought he was too.
You thought I was daddy? Or
he came out with black hair
daddy.
and he looked Chinese.
Yeah. A sheriff comes to town.
I think it's on the fucking like home video of like Nate holding Atticus. Looks kind of Asian-y. Ralph.
I looked up. I was like, Ralph. And I was like, fucking guy. We still want a blood test.
Need a DNA test.
Oh, God damn it.
So, yes, after the humping and moaning, I haven't seen past this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it to Ralph and Jeff to sum this pretty thing up. Because Ralph went back for seconds.
Yeah, I went back a second time.
Miss May.
I really wanted to see it.
The May Queen sees it. She cries. Everybody cries with her, letting her experience grief for once in her life, not alone. As a community, they experience the grief. Mm-hmm. And then we moved to the ritual sequence where they dragged all of the fucking people that were chosen to be part of this spell.
The deads.
Put them in that the gold triangle from fucking Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
About as vague as I can get. Golden Zelda fucking thing.
There we go. Put them in the Zelda thing, and then
who builds an A-frame anymore?
They emptied out the guts of a fucking bear and stuck the fucking boyfriend in there. So he's wearing like a bear suit, looks like a la Tusk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
they're doing that a lot now.
They light the fucker up, and that's it. And everybody cries in unison.
He couldn't take it off.
And what they ended up doing, they
do like Serpent in the Rainbow shit.
They fucking paralyze him. He can't. They even say like, okay,
you'll feel everything.
So after he's done fucking, they end up he like bolts out of there because he realizes what had just happened. He goes and hides in the chicken coop, and like he's running bare ass naked,
and Scarecrow's in there.
Right, and the fucking one of the older guys like fucking scarecrows his ass with like a spider web thing or Spider-Man thing, just like gas him.
Surprise, motherfucker!
And the gas ends up making him to where he's paralyzed. He can't.
It's made from a toxic flower melted around. Liam Neeson in the background.
Gotham will fall. But he's paralyzed and he can't speak. Like he's conscious of everything, but he can't speak and he can't talk. He can't move. He can't do anything. And they like wheel his ass out a la carte, you know.
A la carte?
A la carte.
Isn't that like a la mode?
No, a la mode is with ice cream.
A la carte is when you buy one of the thing.
Yeah.
I want one spaghetti.
Yeah.
A la carte. So you get one noodle.
I'll take.
You get one beat ass boyfriend.
Can I get that?
They a la carted his ass out,
and they made her choose.
Yeah, they made her choose who she wanted. Like
who was the choice?
Like Miss.
Well, they the
May Queen.
They said, hey, May Queen here's all the people that we have put forward for this sacrifice for this event and whatnot. You get to choose one though that you want to have included in there, and she could pick anybody in that crowd. Well, you had
Pele.
You had the two old people that had already died. That was their sacrifices.
Wow.
Two people.
No, like who are the
her
May
choices?
Queen's
Right. I'm trying to.
Like it was the May Queen got to choose either the boyfriend, one of the guys from the crowd, or another guy from the crowd. That was
so it was either two villagers.
It was like 3 people
or
from the village.
Yeah, and this is after she saw him fucking the girl. And so she was like...
She did it out of spite.
It's like a fucked up Wicker Man.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Exactly. I was like, God.
And so she ends up... Like, it doesn't show her picking him, but like less than a minute later, it shows them like de-gutting the fucking bear and stuffing him in it.
Yeah.
Huh.
And he's alive, like he's conscious for all of it.
What makes me laugh is like when you expect him to be like all fucking like fetal position sewn up in this bear, but he's wearing it like a fucking mascot for the Detroit Tigers or something like that, or the Chicago Bears. Sorry, it could have been more literal.
The Detroit Lions.
He's
wearing it just like that.
He's wearing it like a fucking mascot
like
suit.
the Notre Dame.
They took the jaw of the bear and like pulled it down to where his face was.
Oh, that's
in the
cute.
mouth.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was fucking beautiful.
Let's go to Texas Frightmares this.
Oh my God.
You be the Mayflower girl.
No, I'm going as like one of the people from Us. Like with a red jumpsuit and the scissors. Yeah. So I could be like,
He looks like Nate.
We'll get to that review
yeah.
as soon as it comes out on Blu-ray.
It is on Blu-ray.
What?
It's been out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's on Blu-ray.
Then we ain't getting to it.
That was one of the movies I picked up today on sale.
Well, you need to return that.
Fuck you. You weren't there to keep me
Go
from buying it.
Go get Cheech and Chong's next movie. It's
Nah.
more worth your time.
Oh,
But
you're really going
It
there.
is
It's good shit.
it ends up ending with all of them burning up in this fucking thing because they end up lighting the thing on in a blaze. And as the community is screaming in agony because they end up hearing one of theirs scream.
Because 2 of them are alive.
Yeah, 2 of them are alive. Well, technically 3, but
Yeah.
the two that volunteered as tribute, they're screaming in there like dying, and the entire community is screaming along with them. And she is slowly, like, she's doing her cry thing, but she's slowly like
Being
going
mimicked?
from, well, no, she's not being mimicked, but she's going from a cry to laughter. And it cuts to her looking at the fire, and she goes from like a horrified expression to delighted, like she's happy it's finally
That's
over.
the end.
And
So-
it ends up ending with that.
So they all have to copy what the Mayflower girl does?
No,
Because they do. I mean, I saw all that part.
As the Simon Says.
well,
Shit.
no.
Synchronized masturbation.
Well, the entire reason why
It goes to Us.
He goes to Matthew McConaughey.
but the entire reason why they were all screaming though is because the community is they're acting as a single unit. That's the entire reason.
The community,
because they
family.
want to show you that you're not suffering alone.
Yeah.
They don't want you to feel as though you are by yourself in this. They want you to feel as though, hey, you're in pain. We feel that pain. We're sorry for you. So instead of us just standing here watching with our fucking cell phones like millennials, we're going to cry with you so that you know that you're not the only one in pain
This
here.
big weeping session could have
Exactly.
been avoided if
That's
you didn't
reason-
set my ass on fire.
Well, they did it with the old man when they killed him. And if you notice, as soon as they took that final blow, they all went quiet. And then whenever what's her name ended up realizing that her boyfriend had just cheated on her, all the women run with her and cry with her as she's screaming in agony
Yeah.
because she just realized she's just seen the last straw of her relationship just be completely broken. And whenever they go and kill everybody in there and they hear one of their own screaming, they scream in pain to let him know, hey, you're not the only one in pain. We're suffering with you because we've just lost you. That is their entire reason. For doing
I
all
must
that.
be on acid. I could have sworn you just said this like 3 minutes ago. There's a lot of this synchronized agony in this movie.
There is a lot, yeah.
Okay.
It's because the entire purpose of the movie was obviously to watch her and her relationship just fucking crumble. with everybody. She lost her family. She lost her sister. She lost the only connection of what she thought were friends. She lost her boyfriend, and pretty much she's now by herself in this community, whether you want to see it as a cult that's manipulating her or a cult that's trying to help her, all come together and be like, hey, we can be what you've been wanting for the past however long years. We want to be that one unit for you. We want to show you support. We want to show you that we're there. And that's what Pele tries to explain whenever she's like, you don't understand what I'm going through. And he's like, I do. I lost my family in a car accident. And the only people that showed me any kind of comfort or whatever it was that...
No, Pele's parents were the tributes or the elders that died the fucking previous one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why he had to like watch them burn in a fire, and it was like he was reflecting on, and the community took care of me. So he was kind of like in the position where the community kind of solved that problem because his fucking family got burned in the
fire. Okay.
The Triforce.
The Triforce of power. But yeah, so still, regardless, he's trying to emphasize that we can be there for you. And she, at that moment, she's not picking up on it. Like, she doesn't understand because she's like, you don't understand what I'm going through. And he's like,
he's always
I do.
had the hots for her, too.
Oh, well, yeah. That's blatantly clear right from the get-go. Oh, I'm sorry for your family. I'm really glad that you're coming. Like, he's the only one being really sincere with her about it. Granted, he does have ulterior motives that he doesn't give away until once they actually get there, like showing, hey, happy birthday, I thought of you, I only do this for birthdays. And then whenever she becomes the May Queen, he gives her a passionate kiss. Whenever, like,
didn't he draw a picture of her?
Yeah,
that's
for her birthday. And then he turns around and says, hey, stop being a fucking asshole, go get her a fucking birthday thing. After he'd already done everything for her to remind her, hey, I'm thinking of you. I'm willing to show you I'm there for you, even though what's his name's not. And even whenever she tries to defend him, he's like, no, he forgot. That's his fault. And like trying to be very subtle about it, making it seem as though does he help you? Does he comfort you? Was he technically there for you when you needed him?
I remember all that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you could see it in her face. She's putting it together to where she's like, no, he wasn't. Even though she doesn't say it outright, it's blatantly obvious there on her face. So that's the entire point of all that, is just watching this relationship crumble and trying to see if this unit will actually help her out.
All right, let's get in some final thoughts.
Sure.
Yeah, final thoughts.
After y'all. I'm done talking for a minute.
that was more than I heard you said all year, Ralph. Even though we've only recorded one episode.
I was looking forward. All year. I was really looking forward to this. I really enjoyed Hereditary. Everything that I thought was unique about Hereditary. Almost Midsommar kind of played it to almost be cliche. It was like, here's my techniques. This is what I do. Almost everything that he did that you thought was unique about Hereditary, he almost copy and pasted and did it in Midsommar. Minus a couple little intriguing visual effects. The story was very there to go somewhere, and then just like Shyamalan's Village, it kind of like falls on its face at the final act. There wasn't enough to like make some magic truly happen. It was more like, I want to do this, but I want to do this, but I'm not going to give you an epilogue to kind of give you some kind of purposeful fucking ending that could be more, I don't know. It was very anticlimactic, I guess was what I was kind of fucking pushed up against. I'll probably enjoy it again when I watch it at the house, or I get my hands on this director's cut just to like see it again. Because it's not a bad ride, it's just an unfulfilling ride. And when you're saying that this plays within the horror genre, you kind of expect some basic tropes. The originality's there. It's just, it wasn't significant and memorable within the horror genre. It was just something really beautiful to watch. And as a lot of people know, It Follows is something very beautiful you can watch, but it's lackluster in certain areas. And what's sad is this kind of falls into the same regime. It's like, it's there if you want it to be there, but really you're kind of being chased by nothing the whole time. Unless, like, if grief really plays a character, then I guess you can identify with that as being the antagonist that was kind of defeated at the end of the film. But I'm going to buy it on 4K because, it was beautiful to watch. And I give it a recommend. More in the rent area, though.
To piggyback off what you said, yes, this is in the horror genre, but where is the horror? I think this movie's more relying for the horror trope to be more of like a shocking imagery. Like these type of cults still exist in the world, which
drug anxiety,
which they do.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, 20 years ago we had David Koresh and all that other fucking nonsense. So I think it's more relying on being a realistic type of horror rather than a boo scare ghost story or a boo scare possession or a slasher, or, you know, I think it like the most horrifying scene in that is when dude gets killed in the temple and when the people jump off the rock. Other than that, I'm comfortable with acid. So none of that shit like freaked me out. It was like, oh, that's just a day in the life.
Oh, you missed the blood eagle scene.
What's a blood eagle?
You remember the female?
That's right. I forgot about.
You remember the fiance couple?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The female gets like taken to this garden or a pig shed or something like that, and she gets flayed open, and her lungs
the chicken
get.
coop.
So they remove some of her ribs, and they flay her fucking her lungs out, and they have her tied still alive.
Nice,
like Seven kind of shit.
Oh, like fucking
like Hannibal.
Hannibal,
yeah, exactly. And she's like still breathing, and her lungs are out there, and you kind of see them kind of like,
oh fuck, come on,
yeah.
And I don't want to watch a 2.5 hour.
And then
movie
whenever
again.
I think is it when he gets knocked out or if he's checking it? But he looks under and like you see her
breath?
face. You see her face and you see her breath and you see like flowers planted in her eyes.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Like
And,
there's flowers like growing.
Okay,
out of
well,
her fucking eyeballs.
there's a horrific.
My
scene.
buddy Ulrich said
I
it's
forgot
like,
about that scene.
Yeah, my buddy Ulrich said that's a thing that the Vikings actually used to do back then. I was like, fucking brutal, dude.
So yeah, to continue, this movie is beautifully shot. I love the landscape that they've chose. I love Utah. It's right up my alley, bro. Ogden.
He gets $1 every time he says it.
Look, if they would have done it in Ugalaga, it wouldn't have had as beautiful as imagery. No, it's gorgeous. The landscape they chose, like where their cottages and all the field, it's just a plain field. But somehow he makes it so enticing. I don't know if it's the vibrant color palette that he chooses. I don't know what they did, but it's really, really beautiful to look at. I cannot stress enough, for those of you out there that have taken acid and haven't seen this movie does the psychedelic cinema better than I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of fucking trip movies, and this is one of them. This trip was like you're on shrooms. It was fucking crazy. The acting, everybody seemed very on point except Will Poulter. I can only imagine a world where he was actually Pennywise. And it's like, wow, I probably wouldn't have liked the movie. I've only seen this guy in a couple things, and what I've seen of him, I don't like. And this movie is no exception. He sucks in this fucking movie. He is terrible, dumb shit, typical American trope. But it almost seems like that's the real guy.
And he fucking vapes in there too.
Yeah, I mean,
Who vapes? That's so fucking
I don't know.
millennial.
The hardest part about vaping is telling your parents are gay. But yeah, I mean, if as far as my recommend, I'm going to come down the side of Rent. I don't think this is for everybody. I think a lot of people, your ass is going to hurt after this. I mean, me especially, I had to sit on Ralph's lap.
Would you rather see this or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again?
Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Just curious.
Yeah.
I know
Just because that one, that had entertainment value.
That was Grindhouse film at the end of that.
It was entertainment.
Okay.
And with the ending, you know, yeah, it was so much. I don't want to spoil anything.
It's very climactic.
It's very, but like through the whole film, it's almost like an anticlimactic.
Yeah,
it's like,
true.
okay, what's happening for fucking 3 hours? Oh shit! End of movie. This didn't have that oh shit moment other than in the beginning of the movie where the dude hit his ass on a rock. It was like, oh fuck! You're gonna feel that, and then you have another hour and a half of flowers and dancing and white robes and pubic hair and fucking bloody drinks. I didn't even fucking menstrual cycle drinks. I didn't know that. Yeah, there's a lot to be desired more.
like-
You know, and Jeff told me that there's a director's cut. The director, this movie was like 3 hours and 15 minutes long, and they made him cut over 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see where it goes with the director's cut. But I'm definitely going to say a rent, and you should see it. It's worth a one-time watch. I don't know. I'm going to have to rewatch it because the theater story and my popcorn had a hot dog in it. But I'm going to watch it one more time, and I'll judge it by that, and we'll see where it goes after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your finger out of there.
No.
No. It's its comfy place.
It's my happy place.
It's not my happy place.
Too bad. So for me, this movie, I'm pretty sure you all already picked up on it as I was talking about it. This movie, I actually enjoyed it a bit more than these two did. And it's probably because whenever I went in, even though I know a lot, it was categorized under horror, whenever I was watching the trailers, I was getting more of a thriller vibe for it. So I didn't go in thinking I was going to see like a ghost story or ritualistic Satanism or anything like that, or Luciferian or whatever you want to say. I didn't think I was going to see any of that because it was just, the trailer seemed way too bright to be anything considered horror. So I think it's because I went in there with a different mindset that I probably enjoyed a little bit more. The visuals, I'll make that brief because these guys already touched on it. This movie is fucking beautiful. And for me, this is probably going to be something that I will pick up on 4K just so I can see it like in all of its glory, because just the amount of stuff that's in there, it's definitely worth to get the 4K. And if you have UHD, it's worth it. The story for me, I really enjoyed it a lot because there was just so much foreshadowing in the movie. Like, there was a lot that the movie told you without actually telling you, and was telling you what was coming up. Like, one of the biggest things was, because if you end up watching the ending, whenever, like, flash back to whenever she's crawled up into a ball at her apartment before they take off for the airport, whenever the boyfriend walks in to ask her if she's all right above where she's sleeping, there's a picture of a little girl with a crown and a bear. Like she's talking to the bear. Like, she has some kind of connection with that bear. So that's a foreshadowing of her whenever she becomes the May Queen and him becoming the man in the bear suit. You get that. You get a lot of images like in the barn that they're sleeping in. It tells you just about everything that's going to happen. Like, right before it shows the two old people committing suicide, there's a painting above one of their beds. It has two people with their hands up and their hands are bleeding. There's another scene before the boyfriend ends up having sex with the girl. There's a scene where there's a man, or there's a painting on one of the walls where a man is fucking another woman, and there's people surrounding them. Like, there's imagery all over this place. And I know I'm not big on my runes because I didn't finish God of War, but like whenever the two old couples come out and they start to eating, if you notice the way that the pattern of the tables makes a rune as well, and every person in that cult, on somewhere on their article of clothing is another rune that signifies their position in the cult. Thorn. And even whenever Danny, that's her fucking name. Whenever Danny is dancing around, she has a specific rune on her. And
it's wisdom or something like that.
I think it's wisdom. Something like that. Wisdom
or journey.
Yeah,
something like that.
Like, every one of them has a different rune somewhere on their article of clothing. And it's all symbolized in some way, shape, or form. And for me going in to see it the second time and catching all of that just made the movie that much better for me. And to actually get the ending, to see how it all played out, as dark as it was a very happy ending, especially for her specifically, even though it took the deaths of, 10 people?
9. Yeah.
10 people?
Yeah.
You had to watch about 10 people fucking die to get this ending, but to know that she finally got her happy ending, regardless of the path that she had to take and all the bloodshed, she finally got what she was looking for. And just
12 people.
12 people?
Yeah, the parents and the sister.
Oh, yeah. There we go. So even so, like, just to see that journey, like, I enjoyed it because I was really enjoying just watching how it all was playing out and how it was all connecting. So for me, personally, I'm going to buy this movie. Like, I'm no question about it, because I bought Hereditary. I'm going to buy this one.
Would you recommend it, though?
I would recommend it if you're looking for something if you want something that's going to provoke some thoughts.
If you're looking for something long and beautiful.
Exactly. Long, beautiful, and something to watch with your shrooms. This movie I would recommend if you're looking for something that's going to get under your skin to make you think. Yeah. That's really the only thing I would really suggest. If you're looking for something for a scare, I would recommend you Hereditary out of the two movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely much more frightful.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot more frightful. Granted, it's just as slow as a burn, but there's a lot more events that happen in Hereditary versus Midsommar.
Gotcha. That's awesome, man.
12 people die. That's one every 48 minutes.
If you, I guess when I get into a little recommend thing, we brought up Wicker Man. Mm-hmm. I would like to bring up, if you haven't seen Hereditary, definitely sit down with that.
Yeah, do Jeff's tasty choices here.
Oh, dude, the other one I wanted to bring up was
he always cross matches movies, so we got to give it a title.
I would say
Jeff's tasty choices.
Watch Us, because if anything that this film follows really close to is Us, because it's like one of those films that I hate to use the word lackluster, but it promotes conversation more than it does entertainment. Like when you get at the end of Us, you're kind of like, that was something. And at the end of Midsommar, you're like, oh, that was something. I mean, there's stuff to talk about because it's not a lay it in your lap story. It's kind of like, let's talk about this. Like, how did you see that? Oh, well, I saw Danny's journey. Everything that happened was a manifestation of her grief, and her, like, all these things that happened were like white blood cells attacking the things that were damaging her life, and they're reflections of her inner grief. And like, wow, you saw something that I didn't see, and that's awesome because now I can pick up on that. And then JoJo over here knows about the runic sign that symbols meaning this, and the thing they danced around was meaning law and justice and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
Are you JoJo?
No, well, I guess I did read up on all the runic shit because I want.
Is that your wife's name for you?
JoJo? I wanted to interpret a lot of this stuff. JoJo Dancer goes back to old Richard Pryor stuff.
Explain.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah. Anyways,
you can explain it to me.
There's a lot of cool shit to unpack in the film if you're willing to dig a little deeper. But like I said, if you want it, it's very reminiscent of Us. It's not like they don't lay a very
cohesive story.
Yeah, that's something you can just, it sits in your lap and you go like, oh, I got it. Let me show it to everybody. It's like, oh no, it's going to be something kind of.
It's definitely not a conversation modern piece. It's not a modern. It feels like more of a classical.
Yeah,
like it's a think. I hate to say the word thinker, but it's
even films
it's a
like
thinking movie. Like when you walk out, you're confused.
Well, another A24 director I like to think about is Robert Eggers. He did The Witch, and he's got this new movie called The Lighthouse. And what's great about these...
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse looks great. But what's cool about these films is that they follow this fucking, you're going to live and breathe in this world. And what's cool about The Witch, though, is you get a little denouement. You get a little epilogue of how that journey kind of ends. You don't have to sit there and wonder... was the devil real? Was Black Phillip a real thing that she was experiencing? Because you see the manifestation of the devil. You see
Black Phillip is real. He's sitting right there.
Yeah, and you see the devil have her write her name in the book of and she becomes one of the sister witches and stuff. And you see all of that shit, and that's what's so beautiful about some of those films. And I think the only thing that this promotes is the chase we have with originality. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see what these guys do next. Like The Lighthouse, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to what Ari does, Mr. Aster does next. Because, what they're doing is they're promoting originality. And I'll take that 9 times out of 10 before I fucking go see another goddamn remake, or another fucking sequel. Because in a world of superheroes, it's they're far and few between.
All right, hit my music.
Is this Aussie conditioner?
That is fine hide leather.
You've never felt softer penis. Let me hear your shit, baby. You're good. Good.
You're really right up there. Like a fucking Pepsi commercial. I didn't see the full movie. I can't give you anything.
Boo! You suck!
That's the end.
All right. So until next time, we will we'll leave you at this. We'll probably be returning with a little something scary.
Little something.
Stories.
What are we going up with next?
Some scary stories to tell in the dark.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
So until then, this is Jeff.
This is Nathan.
And this is Ralph.
Keep it scary.
Thank you for listening to Deep in the Horror of Texas. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. If you like what you hear, please leave a review on the iTunes or Stitcher radio app. And above all, remember to keep it scary.
All movie sound clips, sound effects, and music used in Deep in the Horror of Texas is owned by the copyright holders. Deep in the Horror of Texas makes no claim of ownership on the copyrighted audio and simply uses it for the sole purpose of entertainment, criticism, commentary, and education or fair use. Please support the official release of the audio used in today's episode where available to you, and remember to keep it scary.